Good morning, dear children. It's me, Sandhya here. How are you all? Hope you all are doing well at home. Today, we are going to start with the first chapter of chemistry, that is matter in our surroundings. I have divided this chapter into four different parts. In this part, we are discussing only the introduction about matter and the different examples and some of the properties of matter. So, let's check out what are the objectives of this chapter or this part. After learning this part, you will able to understand what matter is, what are the different examples surrounding us, and what are the properties of this matter exhibited. First, let's check out what matter is. Matter around us. There are different kinds of matter around us. What you drink, what you eat, and you yourself is a matter. But what is the nature of this matter and what exactly is matter? Let's find out more about matter and the nature of matter. Here are some examples of matter around us. This include air, water, food, stones, plastic, chairs, benches, etc. Majority of the things that we can see around us that may be living or non-living thing include this matter. According to the ancient Indian philosophers, matter can be classified into five primitive elements. They are also known as Panchatattva, which consist of five basic elements: air, soil, fire, and water. According to them, every living or non living thing is made up of these five primitive elements. So, according to the ancient philosophers' concept, matter is made up of five basic elements such as air, soil, fire, and water. They called it as Panchatattva, which was considered to be the basic particle of every matter. Here, there is a cartoon in this picture. There is a wooden bench. All of you know that. From where we get wood? From trees. These trees grow in the soil with the help of water, air, and heat from the surroundings. In this way, we can say that living thing or non-living thing can be composed of or can be grow with the help of these five basic things. But according to the latest concept, the matter is defined as anything that occupies space and should have a particular mass. Anything that should occupy space and have a particular mass is called matter. Then comes the classification of this matter. On the basis of physical and chemical properties, matter is classified into the first category of classification is based on the physical properties, that is solid state, liquid state, and gaseous state. This is the oldest classification, but now there are more than five states of matter that include plasma state, Bose-Einstein condensate state, etc. Then the second classification is based on the chemical properties that include elements, compounds, and mixtures. We will study in detail about these concepts in the coming chapters. So, take a look in the five states of matter. I have told you they are Bose-Einstein condensate, solids, liquids, gases, and plasmas. We will discuss the individual characteristics of these different states of matter in this chapter itself. Here comes the properties of matter. What are the different properties exhibited by this matter? First one, matter is made up of particles. Second point, particles of matter are very tiny or small in size. Third one, the particle of matter have space between them. Fourth one, the particles of matter are continuously moving. And the last one, the particles of matter attract each other. We will discuss the individual properties of matter with the help of different activities. In this part, we are discussing only two properties, that is, the first two properties of matter. The first property of matter is it is made up of particles. Here is an activity for you. Take some water in a beaker and note its level. Dissolve some salt or sugar in it with the help of a glass rod. You can see that the salt disappears or the salt dissolves in the water, but the level of water does not change. This is because the particles of salt or sugar we added get into the space between the particles of water. This shows that matter is made up of particles. In this activity, we have taken a beaker along with some water. Into it, we have added some sugar or salt in a tablespoon or teaspoon. Then we are we are stirring this beaker with a glass rod. After some time, we can see that there is no increase in the level of the water or the salt get disappears. Where does this salt go? This salt get into the space between the particles of matter. Since the matter is made up of particles, salt could enter into the space between water particles. That's all about the first property. Matter is made up of particles. Then comes the second property. The particles of matter are very tiny or they are very small in size. In this activity, we are taking different bakers and first you take a 100 ml beaker and add 2 to 3 crystals of potassium permanganate. Potassium permanganate is a chemical substance having a dark violet color. Some of you may know it because it is used in the cleaning purpose of well water. Here we are adding 2 to 3 crystals of this potassium permanganate in the first beaker containing 100 ml of water. Then stir it well. Then we will get a dark violet color solution of potassium permanganate. Then we have to do is that take 10 ml from the first beaker and pour it into the second beaker. Take 10 ml of potassium permanganate solution from the first beaker and pour it into the second beaker. Then add 90 ml of water into the second beaker so that its total volume will be 100 ml. But we can see that both the volume of the first beaker and the second beaker is same, but the intensity of color in the two beakers are not the same. The intensity of color decreases when compared to the first beaker. The same activity is repeated 5 to 6 times. That means from the second beaker we can take 10 ml of water and add into the third beaker. Then again pour 90 ml of water so that the total volume will be 100. Then after repeating this 5 to 6 times, we can see that the intensity of color decreases gradually. Even this intensity of color decreases gradually, there will be a slight or light violet color in each of the beaker that we can see. This shows that a few crystals of potassium permanganate can color a large volume of water because there are millions of tiny particles in each crystal. Actually, we have taken only 2 to 3 crystals of potassium permanganate, but it can cause a highly intense color in each of the test tubes even though its particle is in lesser amount. This is because each of the crystal contain millions of particles. This activity suggests that the particles of matter are very small in size. So, we have discussed two properties of matter here. In the next part, we will discuss the remaining properties with the help of activities. Thank you.